Are we back? Is everybody back? Hello, everyone. Are we back? Hello, Mo. Hello, Baba Jide. We should be back right now, guys. Everyone, are we back? Abby, can,
Afternoon.
can you hear me? Okay. All right, let's get started. All right, any question at this point? Abby, from you? Mo, Mr. Jide, any question?
No question from my
No
side.
questions so far. Okay, so we're gonna go into the next slides here. Okay. So the code sync is one of the activities that we have. So this is where the arts continuously coordinates dependencies through code syncs. And I'm going to show you what that seems like in a bit, okay? So this code sync happens between the Scrum, between the RTE, okay, and the Scrum Masters, all right? So he has, or the RTE confirms from the Scrum Masters, how things are going. Are we cruising towards the PI objectives and so on and so forth? This is a time box meeting. He also has the same meeting called the PO sync. He has that meeting with the POs as well, but in this case, what we do have is for the Scrum Master, because we're taking the Scrum Master training, okay? It's typically held weekly or more frequently if it's needed. All right, the
You
time
are not
box event.
sharing your screen.
Oh, I thought I was sharing. My mistake. I thought I was sharing. Okay, so this meeting is held weekly. It could be free, it could be more frequent. Some people do this meeting probably once every sprint. Some people do it weekly, depends on what the organization wants. All right. Time box, but it's followed by a mid after for problem solving meeting. So let's say the meeting is held with the RTE and there's something they need to discuss afterwards. They have another meeting after that. All right. That's what the coach sync is. All right. Resolving team conflicts. All right. There's a lot of conflicts in our day-to-day lives, for sure. In the area of scaled agile framework, there's a lot of conflicts. So team produce results. So team are far more productive than than the same number of individuals. We need to have face-to-face communications, which is very, very efficient, in my opinion. Team performs best when they have planned periods of focused, uninterrupted work. Now, this is something very, very important, guys. I've realized in my career that most developers, they don't appreciate when you call them to meetings all the time because it kind of, you know, it kind of block them from doing the entire work, the work that is assigned to them. So most of them will grumble. So you need to pay attention to those voices whenever you're hearing them saying that we're having too much meetings, we need to reduce it. So please make sure that, yes, it's good to meet, it's good to discuss things, but make sure it's not like too much meetings. It's not needed, okay? Products are more robust when a team has all the cross-functional skills necessary. That's true. When teams themselves make a commitment, they'll probably figure out how to meet it. That's also accurate. Changes in team composition can impact productivity. So you don't want a team that's a very high turnaround. So one thing I tell my people is that no, there's no point to keep removing people, putting them on other projects. Yes, you might need to do that, but not often, right? Because it will destabilize the knowledge that the team already has, all right? Peer pressure is a strong motivator, okay? These are some activities here of a dysfunction that's happening in teams. I know we've experienced any dysfunction in our life before, in our roles. Does anybody have any personal experience they want to share with us where there are some dysfunction that has happened on the team that has disrupted the process of the team? Anybody? Any experience in the past? Any experience that you've had in the past where those kind of changes have really caused a lot of issues with the team? Anything from your personal experience or no?
Could we say a developer going on a mat leave? Would we call that one of it?
I mean, they have to. I mean, if they have a baby. But what I mean is, it's a project came out and you have to pull developers from all over, and you're pulling the best. You're pulling the best from all of those teams, bring them into that project. That could disrupt the flow, right? So that's what we're talking about. Want to make sure that we don't, we raise our opinions when these things happen. There was a time when we have some issues with our servers. They had to pull some developers, and they're pulling the best from some teams. I had to tell them, I mean, it's going to have a very big effect on this team, and it did have an effect. So that's what we're talking about. We don't want a situation where things are getting out of hand and nobody's calling it out. Especially that is your job to call things out whenever they happen. All right. Now these are the type of dysfunctions that happens in a team. So teamwork is the ultimate competitive advantage. However, many teams are dysfunctional. Absence of trust. I think I mentioned that earlier in the morning. Trust is very, very important. An absence of trust is the key problem that leads to other for dysfunctions. So number one is absence of trust. That's the basis here. Second one is fear of conflict, where people don't want to have a conflict, with another person. Lack of commitment is another thing that could cause dysfunction in a team. Avoidance of accountability and inattention to results. All of these ones here, there are things I want us to consider for our test. Please keep those in mind, okay? And they're also in your notes too, please. So let's see what they have here. SAFE helps address the 5 dysfunctions. Number one, inattention to results. Results are empirically reviewed at the end of every iteration and release. Iteration retrospective drive continuous improvement. And again, where do we have iteration? Retrospective. When is it done? Anybody? Beginning and middle of the sprint? When?
End of the sprint.
That's right. End of the sprint. So avoidance of accountability, how does that work? Stakeholders, peer pressure, and reviews of results drive accountability. That's correct. Lack of commitment. Teams make shared commitment to each other and to external stakeholders. So you must be committed to somebody, right? Fear of conflict. Scrum creates a safe environment for conflict, right? The Scrum Master encourages discussion of disagreements. Shared commitments avoid individual conflicts that occurs when objectives are not aligned. So people don't want to be in that situation, right? Where what they committed to is not being accomplished. But before this would happen, that means we're doing a very wrong planning and again, we have to do a very, very solid planning where everybody's comfortable and happy with whatever they committed to. Absence of trust. This is a very big issue, guys. It is very important to know that even our estimate is based on trust. All right. And you don't want to come across as a developer or as a stakeholder where you cannot be trusted. All right. The environment is safe. The team shares commitments and goals, display hyper transparency, and engages in retrospective. So it's very much important that we foster a team that trusts each other. Okay. This also will come out in your test. It's just some notes for you to keep in mind. Avoiding ideological and personal conflicts. I made as an example I gave you, right? There's nothing you gain in in accruing more enemies. It's of no value from what I understand. It's very much important that you make sure that you have friends everywhere you are. All right. Respect will give you friendship. Okay. Even if you don't know something and you respect people, they're gonna be willing to teach you. Even when you know something and you still respect people, they want to be willing to learn from you. All right. So please, this is very much important. I want you to read through this for your exam. It is very, very key in our daily life as a Scrum Master. We must make sure that we avoid conflict as best as possible. No, please. Resolving conflicts. Some of the ways to resolve conflicts are this. This is not an exhaustive list like I mentioned earlier today. One of the ways is to meet with the conflicting parties. Okay. There was a time when somebody was reported to their manager. All right. I think there was if I understand the story correctly, this guy went to the hospital, I guess, with his child for a tooth operation. So the lady who is the product owner now calls the manager and starts to say, "Oh my gosh, this guy went for a surgery and he did not cancel the meeting." And remember, in the Venn diagram we worked on earlier in the morning before we went on break, there is a role there which is for backlog grooming. Who owns the backlog? Is the PO, correct? So this same PO that needs to own the backlog went to report the Scrum Master to the manager that the guy did not cancel the meeting for the backlog refinement. This is a meeting that's supposed to be led by the PO, by the way. And the manager just got angry with the Scrum Master, just like that. That's not right. That's not the way to go about it, right? So we should be able to resolve conflicts, ask questions, put people together, understand what the issue is before you pass judgment. Okay, that's the point. So challenge each of the assumptions, dig deeper and review the assumptions. Make sure that you are fair. It's just the point. Make sure that you are fair. Okay. Let's see what we have going on here. About conflicts. Let's see.
Every conflict has an underlying cause. Is it a values conflict? Is it a relationship conflict? It's really important to understand not the symptom of the conflict you're having, but actually what do you really need to solve from this? Is it within your scope? Is it something you need support in solving? And once you understand that, I always say talk yourself down the ladder, right? Of how to solve the problem. If you're at the top, it's I can't work with that person. But when you say, oh, this is a values conflict, I see this differently than they do, then it's, oh, maybe I should learn more about why they see it differently. And as you walk down the rungs of the ladder, you get to a place where, again, you're having a supportive, on the same team conversation about how to move forward. I'm Leishan Gargano-Quilling, Scrum Master for the marketing team at Scaled Agile.
Right. Any question about conflict resolution? Anybody? Any questions? Should we move on? Okay. Now, working agreement is very, very important. This is a very important aspect for us to keep in mind. Okay. What are working agreements, guys? Working agreements are the rules. They are the rules that we need to abide with. Before we started the class, I walked us through, this is when we meet, this is when we go on breaks, and so on and so forth, right? Those are working agreements. Whenever you start working, you need to create a working agreement for your team. And it has to be placed in a place where they can always see it. Probably on a shared drive, or maybe on a Confluence page, wherever they can be able to access it all the time and review it. Usually you want to review this every quarter. For example, you want to put on there when your meeting starts, when your meeting ends, who are supposed to come to the meetings, the dates of that meeting, your engagement about your vacation, how do you report your vacation time? A lot of things would come into play, right? But it's very, very, very important to have a working agreement. Very, very important. Whenever you start working and you need help with that, please, I can help you. You can reach out to me, okay? So you want to read this one for your exam, working agreement. What is it that seems like? Please keep this in mind for your test, okay? Achieving consensus. Right, define why reaching a consensus is very important in this situation. Let people exchange thoughts. All right. Can anybody add more to consensus? What does that mean to you in your day-to-day life? Anybody? Consensus. What does that mean to you?
I'll
Um,
say,
okay.
okay, I will just say in a short say what is a way of a point where we meet, a point of agreement. That is a middle point. Yeah, that's what I'll call it.
Right.
Where we have the same probably opinion or what or where we just say this is okay, this is what we accept.
We agree on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, being on the same page. And nobody forces it on other people.
That's right.
We all decide what we want to do, and we agree to do that.
Agree to do that. Right. That's what consensus is. Now, resolving conflicts. I mean, in your daily life, most of us, we have kids, we've been resolving conflicts for a long time. For me, I have 3, and I see myself as the best judge ever in the world because I separate fights every time. I have to be very, very fair. So, that same knowledge where you have people who are developers or people who are team members that have a different opinion, or somebody is a laggard, you want to deal with that, you hear something, it's not totally accurate. You need to make sure that people don't pile on you as the enemy anymore. You have to be the one to resolve problems with fairness and make sure that everybody is happy. You cannot make everybody happy, but just be fair. Let people be able to talk about you that no, it's always very, very fair. All right. So very, very important. There's no exhaustive list I will give you that this is scenario. No, it happens all the time, different scenarios. But the bottom line is that you have to be a fair person, a fair judge. Okay. That's gonna be for chapter 2. In this lesson, what we talked about? We talked about how to define the role of a Scrum Master, identifying characteristics of high-performing teams, discuss facilitating effective team events, practice coaching the agile team using powerful questions, discuss techniques for team collaboration and conflict resolution. Chapter 3 is going to be hands-on. We're going to do a lot of not writing, but practice, I would say. So let's get right into it if there's no question right now. Is there any question at this point? Sorry? You have a question, you said?
No.
No. Okay. Now we're going to go to chapter 3. That's one of my most favorite chapters. Okay. So, chapter 3. Experiencing PI planning. Okay. Now, a couple of things we're going to talk about before we even delve into chapter 3. Okay. Let's come up here and share notes. I'm gonna clear everything here. I made mention earlier that a PI, please check your notes, guys. PI usually goes for 3 months, right? Which is equal to 12 weeks, which is equal to 6 sprints. All right, 6 sprints. Now, I made mention to you that the backlog, before we do that, let's talk about stories. All right, let's talk about stories. Okay. Before we even talk about stories, right? This is the sequence of work. Epics, because I think it's important for you to know this. Epic to capabilities, to stories, to task. Okay. Now, what are epics? Epics are big initiative, right? Epic can actually span more than one PI. You getting my point, guys? Epic is very large, all right? It could span more than one PI. Epic breaks down into capabilities, all right? What are capabilities? Capabilities are related stories. I made a mistake, guys. Please let me take a step back. Let me take a step back. I made a mistake. So I'm going to cancel what I did here. I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to clear our drawings. Epic give back to features. That's what I missed. Features, capabilities, to stories, and stories to task. Okay. Now, Epic, like I was saying, it's a very, very big initiative. All right. And Epic can span more than one PI. Please put that in your notes. All right. Epics will break down to features. Okay. Features is what we put into the art backlog. Okay. Features. Goes into the art backlog. Okay. Which I've shown you. All right. These same features breaks down into capabilities. All right. Capabilities, please put this down. Capabilities, they are related features. So let's say there's a feature that we want to build. Let's look at the car, for example, at the vehicle, right? Vehicle has the outside part, they have inside part, right? So we can club together all the features for the outside part of the car to be a capability. Okay? Can put the features that are internal to the car to be a capability. All right? Then this capability will now break down into features. Let me put it that way. All right? Now, features needs to be completed within a PI. Epics can be done over more than one PI. That's fine. But features needs to be done within a PI because it's part of the art. All right? The features breaks down into stories. The way we measure stories is by story points. So stories is measured by story points. Okay? Then stories now break down into what is called task. Task is measured by hours. Any questions at this point, guys? Any questions? Are we aligned? Are we good? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's straightforward.
Okay, perfect.
We just we do more readings.
Yeah, that's fine. But again, I want to make it as simple as possible. Now let's go into two things. We're gonna go into Jira, okay? And after that, we'll go into estimation. Then once we're done with that, we'll continue with our notes. So let's go into Jira right now, guys. Let's go into Jira. Push this down here a little bit. Let me find. Okay, this is what I'm looking for. So since you guys have access to all of this stuff, okay, we're going to start to create user stories right now, which is an enormous part of your job. Guys, can you see my screen?
Yes.
You can see my screen. Okay. So I want you to, since you guys have access to Jira right now, I want you to watch me create a story. And I'm going to create a sample story for you, and I want to leave you to create 3 stories each. Okay? So you come up here that says create issue. You click on that guy. This is the format to write a story. Please watch me. As an entity, okay? Let's keep this in mind. This is the format. I'm just putting the format here, okay? I want to be able to do something, okay? So that something could happen. All right, so what is this that I've written down here? An entity could be an individual, it could be a person, it could be a system, it could be anything. Let's take a look at the bank. Okay, at your mobile application in the bank. You want to log in the morning, right? To check your balance, or somebody sends you money, you want to check, right? You are the entity checking right now. You are the customer. So in that vein, I can say as a customer, right? As a customer, all right? You are the entity. I want to be able to view the history of my spending for the last 6 months, so that what? So that I can determine how to cut cost. Once you're done, you press enter and that's it. All right, we're gonna talk about something else after now, but do you understand the format of writing a user story right now, guys? Are we clear on the format to write a user story?
Yeah.
As an entity, it could even be a system.
Please, I have a question.
Please go ahead.
So must you write that as an entity thing first?
No,
or
no,
you
no, no,
just
no,
go
no, no.
straight to the story?
Just go straight to the point. Just go
Okay.
straight for it. So
Okay.
another thing we can do is that as a system, all right, to be able to validate the login credentials, can grant access to the customer. Once you're done, press enter. That's it. So based on this knowledge, I want you guys to go ahead and create 3 stories each. All right, I'm going to review your work. I'm going to take it out from there. Are we clear, guys?
Sorry, I can't see your story fully. As a customer, I want to be able to view my bank details so that okay. Okay, as a system, I want to be able to find them so that I can grant access to. Okay, thank you.
You good? That's fine.
Yeah.
So go ahead and create 3 stories for anything. You can look at any system, anything you have that you can think about. Just create 3 stories each, and we can continue from there. Okay. Please, I'll give you around 5 minutes to do that. Okay, everybody, let's do it. Are we doing any questions? Right. Not seen anybody create anything yet. Let me do a refresh here and take a look. Guys, are we having trouble? Nobody's created anything yet. Abby, are you having trouble creating this?
I don't think I have to. I created one and what's it's like.
And what? It ran away? Ah, so where did you create it? Where is it at? Obviously, it's not here.
He's not there. It's
Okay,
funny.
so
Have you seen it?
I've not seen it, no.
Where did I create it? I created one. Okay, I'll do that again.
Okay. Did you press enter whenever you did that?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure. Okay, so you have another minute. I said you guys to create 3. Nobody has created one yet. Mr. GD, have you able to create one yet or no?
I created the first one.
Which one is that?
As a user, I want to be able to
I
sign
can
into.
see it. Where is it?
That's the problem. I'm just wondering.
Okay,
I
because
I
what?
created one too.
Okay, so you guys probably not creating it properly.
Are we connected? Are we supposed to be connected?
Okay, I've seen somebody's own now.
Yeah, somebody just showed up right now. Yes.
Yeah, this is mine, the
This
third
is
one.
you. Okay, perfect. Third or the
No,
fourth one?
the other one. This one, the one on top of that.
This one here?
I want to be able to validate it. No, that's not mine.
This is yours. To hover on a menu page so that I can display a drop-down message, right?
No, that's not mine. Mine has
Okay.
to sign in with my face recognition in
Okay,
order
so
to protect my phone privacy.
so where is that?
I clicked enter and it went, so I don't know why it's not showing there.
So that is
Okay,
mine, but me, I can't even
I
see it.
see
I can't see anybody.
you went to create it somewhere else. See what
Yeah.
you created in sprint 1, and that's not where we're going to right now. So I'm gonna
Is
see
it
this
not,
thing
is
is
it not on that backlog that we are creating it?
it should be on the backlog, yes. So come up here, guys. I'm gonna move this down here for you. Okay. That's the cool thing about this stuff. You can just create, just move it, you can move it around. That's I told you about prioritization of the backlogs. Please pay attention, guys. Whenever backlogs is written like this, the PO can prioritize and say, okay, this story here is not going to be happening right now. Let's move it to the bottom. Move it
Yeah,
down.
I think
All
the
right.
problem here is knowing how to use this application.
That's why we're here. That's why we're
Yeah,
in
I've
the
seen
training.
it.
Okay.
I've seen where I'm supposed to be. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to help you out. Don't worry about it. Okay. I will help you. Just so go ahead. You guys have created a bunch of stories here, which is fine. I really appreciate that. Now, the other thing I want to teach you is this, guys. This backlog, I said it has to be prioritized. All right. By who? By the PO. Okay. Now, to prioritize the backlog is very simple. You can move stories, just click on the story and drag it. And drag it to anywhere you want to drag it to. This shows me that story 2 is much more important than story 3, all the way down to story 1. Story 1 is the least important right now. Story 2 up here is the most important. Okay, guys, is that clear? Now, as you can see as well, these stories has no assignee. What does that mean? This story is not assigned to anybody. They're just orphans. Nobody's going to take care of this story because it's not assigned to them. How do we do that? Please pay attention, guys. If you look at it right now, just click on that image and assign it to anybody. So I'm going to assign this story to Babajide here. Okay. He has a story right now. So I want you to go ahead and assign these stories. If you create a story, assign to somebody else. Okay. If you create a story, assign that story to somebody else right away, please. Do that and let's move on. I want to see every story that you have created. Make sure you assign that story to somebody else. All right.
What do you mean by that, please? Sorry, I was just
Sorry?
creating story while you were talking.
Okay. So the first story here, right, is assigned to you. Okay.
Let me
If I
come back.
click on,
I need to
sorry.
see. I need to come back to Zoom. I want to see what you're doing.
Okay. Let me know when you're back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. Now, let me get out of here. This story, story 2, okay, is assigned to you right now.
How
Okay.
did you assign it?
Good question. So when you click on that image, All right. You see assignee here. You can exit or maybe type somebody else's name. Let's see what we got here. Let's say, who else do we have here? Who do we have here? Let's see.
Abby.
Abby. So let's do AB. Abby is here. Click on Abby. Abby has a story. Okay. Now, I want you to assign every story that you've created. Assign it to somebody else. Okay.
Okay.
Do that. I'm going to tell you what to do next.
Okay.
Abby, are we clear?
Yes. Yeah.
Good. I tell you, this class is very, very practical. So I'm not going to just tell you stories. We're going to practice everything so that whenever you leave, you can talk about this in your interview. All right. So that's the reason we're here. So everybody, please do that in the next 1 minute or 2 minutes. Beautiful. Good job, guys. I still see some 3 stories. One is created this story.
It's you.
Me. Okay, that's fine. So I need to assign something to somebody now. Okay. Let's see more. More, I'll give you this. Okay. Okay. Who created this one? It's created by who? By Mo. Please, Mo, assign that story to somebody else. And I think it's created by Mo as well.
Just assigned that one to more,
Okay.
which was my story. As a user, I want to be able to sign into my phone with face recognition so that my phone privacy is better secured. So
Okay,
that
but this is for you as well. This story is for you.
the one with car, right?
Yeah, to avoid cold. Yeah,
So I'm
this one
assigned
here.
to Abby.
Beautiful. Now that we've now understood how to assign stories. Now let's go to sprint. Okay. I was talking about
Assigning story to me.
sorry.
Okay, I've only seen one. One story is assigned to me. That's fine.
Okay. Now let's go to the sprint. Okay. This is just the backlog. Okay. This backlog doesn't have a maximum number of stories that could be there. It could be anything. We don't care. This is where we care about. We care about the sprint itself. So, sorry?
Can I ask a question, please?
Yes, please go ahead. Yeah.
So, in the real sense, do they just pick the story themselves or the product owner assign the story?
Say that again. I can hear you. What?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yes. You said what?
In a real life situation, team members, do they get to pick the story themselves? Do they get to assign the story to themselves, or the product owner do that?
The PO will assign the story.
Okay.
Okay. As in some instances, people might assign story to themselves too. They can say, okay, this story I'll assign it to myself.
Okay.
All right. But the purpose of our planning meeting is for the PO to assign the story to everybody on the day of the planning. And the planning takes place at the day that the sprint starts. Remember, guys? Remember? Okay. Now, let's say this story has been prioritized. This backlog has been prioritized. Okay. But we need to put story points to the story. All right. So this is what we're going to do right now. What are story points? Story points is the weight that's assigned to the story. That's what story points are. Okay. Now let's take a look at this story. Let's say these are prioritized. So prioritization means this is the most important story that we want to do. If it's not the most important story, we can drag it down to where it's supposed to be. Let's say POC is supposed to be here. We've reprioritized everything, everybody is good. Now, next thing we want to do is to add story points to this story. And this is how we do that. I'm going to go to this tool called Planet Poker. Okay. I'm going to drop that for you guys here. Another tool that I'm giving you guys. You don't pay for these stuffs at all. So that's the essence of what we do. Give it to you here. So that's the tool you want to use. Just log into that tool, guys. Okay. Log into the tool. Okay. Let me share my screen with you guys. Are seeing my screen, right? I guess you are. Yep.
But we are seeing this black stuff on it. If you can help us take it off.
Oh, my mistake. Sorry. So you guys log into Planet Poker. What you guys are going to do here is create a room. Let's put in the name of that room here. Let's say Amazon Group Room. Okay. You can leave all of these options there and click on create. All right, story has been created. Okay. Now, yes. Please go ahead.
I was asking, we sign in with the same username we've been using.
No, you can put any username here. Anything you might just put in anything that's okay for you. Okay. All right. Now, create new story. What you want to do here, guys, is to go back to your Jira, and let's say we pick up the story, this guy. Let's open it up here. Here's the story number right there. Come out to Planet Poker, slam it there for yourself. And let's say save and close. Okay. What you're going to do after that is to copy this URL. Okay.
Please can you hold on for me, please? I'm still trying to sign into my.
Oh, okay. Let me let you do that.
Yeah.
Let me give you a second to do that. Sorry.
Okay.
Let me know whenever you're done.
Yeah, so I've clicked on create room.
Okay, good. So create room, just give any number, give any name you want to that room. That's fine. And continue. Okay. So once you create a room, you just put in a number for your user story that you want to estimate, put that in the room, and you would see something that says invite a team. When you click on the copy URL that you can see over here, drop it on the chat for your team members. All right. Once you do that, they're going to get on this same page that I'm on right now. So click on the link I sent to you right now in the chat. You should be able to see this link, this page that I'm seeing right now.
Sorry, I missed it. I didn't get that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So if you go on the chat, on the group chat right now, on this Zoom, okay, you see I dropped the link over there, right?
On the chat?
Yes, on the chat, yes. I can see Mosumala is in here already.
I've seen the link.
So click on that link.
The previous one.
Sorry? No. The latest one I sent over.
Okay. Yeah.
I can see that Mosumala is on there right now.
He said enter your name.
Yeah, enter your name and come on in.
So this is like a shortcut because I was trying to go through the.
No, I created this one. Whenever you start working, you create one for your team as well. I created this one for you.
Okay.
All right. You're gonna follow the same process to create for your team. Okay. So I see Mo, I see Balaji, I see. So we're expecting to have what's the name? We're supposed to have somebody else here, right? Abby is here. Perfect. Now, please pay attention here. This is the cool. This is the cool part.
Come here.
This is the cool part of this application. Okay. Story 0 and half we ignore.
Your uncle is. Where is your
book? Be on mute, please.
Your uncle is.
Let me mute you. I'm gonna mute Abby here. Okay. So, guys, pay attention here. Okay. A story that is estimated as 1 is something that will be tested, developed, and tested in just 1 day. That's what 1 means. Pretty easy to do, to be done quickly. After that, we talk about 2 is a little bit complex than 1. 3 is complex than 2. 5 is complex than 3, all the way to 13. This number, if you take a look at it, 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. Any story that is estimated as 13 is way too big. This story has to be broken down to smaller chunks if it's possible. If not possible, I'm afraid we have to leave it like that. Okay, so this is story points. Now, story points is estimated based on a lot of things. It's estimated based on the complexity of the story, based on understanding of the story, based on a lot of other factors. I'll give you an example. If you want to drive from my little town of Pittsburgh to Kansas City, it is just about 2.5 hours drive on a good day, 2.5 hours drive. But if there is snow, there's going to be heavy snow. Is it going to still be the same 2.5 hours drive? No, because there's other conditions that affect the driving. Okay? And also, please take note of this. A team can look at a story and estimate it as 2, and another team can look at the same story and estimate it as 5. Understanding experience is very, very important. So if we don't compare teams in Agile, we don't say this team did 10 story points, that team must do 10 story points. No, we don't do that, right? Estimate is based on the understanding of the people doing the estimation. Okay? So the way it's being run is this. I'm going to do a demo for us. We're going to participate in that. And that's how you're going to do your estimation going forward. All right. So based on the understanding that you guys have about estimate, I'm going to start this right now. Okay. And please go ahead and vote between 1 to 13. Everybody, please vote. Vote, 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 everyone. Go ahead and vote. Click on the numbers that you see on your screen, anything that you think is okay for the story. Let's do that real quick.
What is the story?
Sorry?
Do we need to see the story before we vote?
Which story are we voting for?
Okay, good question. When you click on the link I sent over to you guys, all right, you will see the story that says RTAV 10-3. Did you see that on your screen right now? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Then you do see a bunch of numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. That tells you you're voting on this story, 10-3.
So is there a need for us to know the details of the story before we vote?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I thought we've talked about that. So this is a story that says, as a system, I want to be able to validate the login credentials so that I can grant access to customer. The team members are going to be the one to vote, not the PO, not the Scrum Master. All right. The team will review the story. They look at it, they'll be like, okay, that means they want to be password authentication. What goes into that? They think about it, they say, now we understand the story. How do we estimate the story? How big or how small it is? You pull this up and they vote. The folks that are voting are folks that are doing the job, not the PO, not the Scrum Master. Okay.
Okay.
So you guys are just vote. So you guys are occupying the role of a team member right now. Okay. So I see that Babajide has voted. Musamala, please vote. And Abby, please vote. Just what number do you think is okay for this? Abby has voted. Musamala, I'm waiting for you to vote. Mo, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm looking for I'm looking for the app. I don't know where it is.
Okay, so I'm gonna go on the chat. You see you see the link.
I'll see it again. All right.
Yeah. Good. Now pay attention, guys, and look at my screen here. Whenever you tell them to do all of that, everybody has voted. What do you have to do? You click on what is called flip cards right here. Okay. You click on flip cards. I see that Mosumola says 2. Babajide said 2. Abby said 3. What you're gonna do as a Scrum Master at that point is now ask them, Abby, why do you say this is 3? Abby says, you see, this story is a little bit complex, blah, 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 is what happens. Okay. Balaji and Mosumola, why do you say it's 2? They give their opinion, then we arrive at a consensus. We might say, okay, because we want to be on the safe side, we want to keep the story as 3 story points. And what we do, come up here to the story here, go to the, maybe later, go to the story points right here and puts 3 to it. 3 story points. Okay, that's the estimate. Estimate is story. The estimate is 3 here. So we do the same for all the stories here. Okay, let's say after that, we say this one is a 5. Let's say we say this one is a 2. Let's say this one is a 1. Let's say this one is an 8. Let's say this one is a 5. So this one is a 5. This one is an 8. Okay. So in total right now, what you see in the backlog, we have 37 story points in the backlog. Are we clear on that, guys? Are we aligned on that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now, the question now is this. This is a new team. We don't even know what our velocity is. We don't even know what our capacity would be. All right, so how do we determine that? The way we do that is this. You ask the team, how many story points do you think we can work on? It's a team of 3 people, right? Let's say the team says we can do, let's say 10 story points or 8 story points. 8 story points, you said, they say yes. Okay, good. What you're going to do is, I'm going to teach you a small trick here, guys. Okay? This is sprint 1. Sprint 1, right? This sprint, let's say, starts today, the 16th. It's going to go for 2 weeks. Okay, guys? It's going to be ending on the 29th, I believe. Okay? This is a 2-week sprint. Make it a 2-week sprint. Okay?
Oh.
A 2-week sprint. Okay? And this is where you put your sprint goals. Please remember about sprint goals, right? Do you remember sprint goals?
Yes.
At the end of this sprint, we would be able to accomplish the following. Number 1, all names with blank. Name the data. visualize the report in Tableau, etc., etc. This is going to be our sprint goal. Okay. We update this guy. So what you want to do, move the stories that are aligned to this, move them into the sprint. What you want to do is this. Teach you a trick. Let's say this is 1, 2, and let's say these 2 stories is what we can work on. 8 story points. You're gonna right click here, move to sprint 1. Boom, everything goes to sprint 1. See you guys? Sprint 1 has those story. Now it's a good idea to create more sprints. So watch what happens here, guys. Watch what happens. You see, the date is already there, 30th to 13th of January, because we said 2-week sprints. Make sense, guys? Create another sprint. You have sprint 3. Okay. Now, whenever we're doing our grooming, we can begin to put potential stories into the sprints that they're potentially gonna be at. So let's say we're doing our grooming session, and we think that these 2 stories potentially will be happening in sprint 2. Let's move them to sprint 2. Move to sprint 2. Okay. Let's say this story here is going to be going to sprint 3. Just right click on it. All right, right. Oh. And move to sprint 3. Okay, guys. Now, getting back to where we stopped. This is sprint 1. All right. Hold up here. Where the story for sprint 1? This is sprint 3, sprint 2. Thought I moved some stories into sprint 1, right? I did move some stories to sprint 1. Where are they? Or they moved to sprint 2? Perhaps.
Showing 0 issues.
Yeah, maybe I moved them to sprint 2 in error. I don't know, but let's move these 2 stories. Yes, I moved these 2 stories. Let's move these 2 stories to sprint 1. All right. They're now in sprint 1. Okay. What you see right here, guys, is that we said we can only do 10 story points in sprint 1. So what we're going to do here is to move these stories out. You can move them to the backlog 1, 2, and 3. You can move them to the backlog, whatever I want to move them to. Top of the backlog is fine for now. So sprint 1 only has 2 story points. I mean, 2 stories, which is 8 story points, right? Now we start the sprint. Let's say at the end of this sprint, let me move back here to show you something here. Okay. And I'm going to cancel everything, cancel all drawings. So let's say in sprint 1, we committed to doing 8 story points, but we completed 5 story points. Okay. We got to sprint 2. We ask you again, how many story points are you able to do? You guys committed to 8. We only did 5. Should we take a step back? We said, no, we can do 8 again. We try on 8 story points in sprint 2. At the end of the day, we're able to do 5 story points. Also a very small team, right? So at the end of that, with this sprint 3, we ask ourselves, how many stories are we going to be able to do? We said 5 at this point. Let's try at 5. We did 5 story points. At the end of the day, we completed the 5 story points. 5 story points. By the time we get to S4, guys, how many story points are you going to be putting into this sprint? 5 or 8?
Right.
Good. 5 story points. And hopefully we're going to be able to done with 5 story points. And why is that the case? Because when we find the average of 1, 2, 3, it is 5. So when you get to sprint 4, it's common sense to put 5 into sprint 4. We must make sure you accomplish that. So these 5 story points becomes our velocity. So going forward, if the team is consistent, if the team is in the office, everybody's working at 100%, we can't do more than 5 story points. Going to any sprint that we're all in the office. That's what's called the velocity. Is that clear, guys? Are we clear on the velocity?
Yes.
Okay. Now, capacity is a little bit different. I've explained that in the previous class. Capacity is that we want to consider vacations and PTO, sick leave, whatever it is. Okay. So normally, if we're at 100% capacity in the office, we have to do 5 story points. But if Mo is out of the office, she's going on vacation for a whole week. That means our 5 story points cannot stand because we've been reducing capacity. So based on vacations, based on somebody going on leave, where they want to take their kids to soccer, graduation, they're not going to be working, it will affect our velocity. So when we put that in our mind, this might become 3 in some sprints instead of 5 in some sprints. So that will drive me to a tool inside your Google Drive called Capacity Planner. Please go ahead and take a look at that Capacity Planner. It's inside the tool I provided for you guys yesterday, the Google Drive. Capacity Planner provides you an Excel sheet, which I'm going to try to get to today on how to use the Capacity Planner, right? But at this point, is there any question before we go back to Jira and complete our work? Are we clear, guys? Yes, please.
I think we are clear, just that, the tool thing is my first time of, even seeing some of these things. So
yeah.
I think you are too fast.
Okay.
If I'm listening. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's fine. So where did I lose you?
No, I understand it so far, but I think it would be better if we probably see you demonstrate it on
Absolutely. On Jira itself, right?
Yeah, and then give us the opportunity to also try it to be sure we are getting it. I know after the class we still have to practice on our own, but with the way you are moving, I personally may not be able to do it smoothly after this class.
So that's not what we want. We want you to be able to do it very well. All right.
Yeah.
So now all that I've done here is they're just theoretical parts. So let's go and practice everything right now. Okay. Let's go practice everything.
We should go to the Excel sheet, right?
We are going to Jira right now. We're going to Jira, not Excel. We're going to Jira right now.
I thought you said we should open our Google Drive.
No, I'm saying I have Capacity Planner for you on Google Drive. So we can go there right now if that's what you want. Let's go to Google Drive and I'm going to walk you through what we have on Google Drive. Okay. So let's go into Google Drive here, guys.
Please, I'm not there yet. Just I'll let you know.
Yeah, that's fine. So let's go into Google Drive here. Okay, it's not what I want. To be the second one. More files here.
So is it the copy of Safe Capacity Planner, right?
There we go. Yes. Copy of that. So let's open that up here.
Okay.
And I'm going to show you what that means. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys can see my screen right now.
Yes.
Okay, guys, please pay attention. This is one of some very important part. I informed you earlier, all right, that we work in sprints, all right?
Mm-hmm.
This is sprint 1, sprint 2, this is PI 5, iteration 1, PI 5, iteration 2, all the way to PI 5, iteration 6, all right? We're just
Mm-hmm.
gonna pick one of them. Everything has the same information, all right? This is the way it's been calculated, by the way, guys, pay attention. The names of the team members are gonna be here. Your names are gonna be right here. See, the dates will be here. Sprint planning, like I told you, it takes an hour. Everybody has 1 hour. That's 8 hours in total. Stand up is 2.25 hours, 15 minutes every day for 10 days. That is 225. Everybody, that's going to be 18 hours. Backlog grooming is 2 hours. I told you it takes place twice in a sprint. It goes for 16 hours for everybody. Demo, probably an hour. Everybody's in the meeting. Retrospective, an hour. Everybody's in the meeting. That brings us to 58 hours in total for all the times for ceremonies. 7.2 all the way down for everyone is 58.200 hours. Are we clear on that, everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. This one here, don't worry about it. Not all companies do this, so it's not of value to do that. Now, this is the meat of the bone. If we have 0 for everybody, that means nobody's going on sick leave, nobody's going on holiday, there's no public holiday for anybody. It's 0. That means at the 100% capacity.
Within the sprint, right?
Within the sprint, yes, sir. Within the
Okay.
sprint. The total hours of work will be 542 hours for these people. It's going to calculate by itself. This 7.25 is telling you that this is the amount of time that you guys are not working. This 7.25 is right here. This 75 hours, most companies would say you guys are working 7.5 hours in a day, right? So in 10 days, it's going to be 75 hours.
So it's
10
going
days
to
of work.
deduct, it's going to deduct the time you spent in those meetings
Right.
from the actual time you're supposed to work.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay.
So this will give it to 67.5 hours for everyone at
Okay.
100% capacity. Leads
Okay.
to 542 hours.
Okay.
Correct?
Yeah.
Correct, guys? Okay, great. But perhaps Sam is going on vacation. Going to go for a whole day, 7.5 hours. All right. With that, our time has changed because my dude here is going to be working for 60 hours, 0.25, while others are at capacity. So we're going to be reduced in terms of the load that we're going to be taking on. Are we clear on that, guys?
Yeah.
Good. So this is what you're going to deal with in your capacity. Now, the good thing here, though, is this. This is to the detail of hours. And I told you that task is in hours. The unit of task is hours. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Unit of user stories is story points. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So each story, though the story points, let's say it is 8, and it is let's say we're committing to 20 story points as a team.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The story points needs to be broken down into tasks, and here's the reason. If you want to build as a system, I want to give access to somebody to get into the system, all right, so that they can access their accounts. There's a lot of tasks that go into that. Maybe you need to create an interface. It takes time.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to create some request and response. It takes time. Everything that you need to do will now come under what is called task, which I'm going to show you in Jira right now. All right. So at this point here, usually this will tell you again how many story points you are supposed to have for the sprint. based on all these numbers. This might not be so accurate because I don't think I've had time to review the codes under this one, but essentially it's going to let you know based on your capacity, you should load at 33 story points or 50 story points, whatever the case may be. That's what this tool should let you know. Okay. Ultimately, what I'm saying is that because of some vacations, the total amount here will be reduced. Are we clear on that, guys?
Yes.
Are we clear, the ladies?
I am, yeah.
We are clear. Okay, great. Now we're going to leave this place and go back to the tool and take a look at what we have in Jira. Okay. All right, Jira should be right here. Okay. Now, so the sprint is going to start here, guys. We've aligned this is number stories that we want to work on. I've told you what the velocity is and what capacity is. Okay. Come up here and start the sprint. The sprint have started. Okay. These are our goals for the sprint. Sprint starts. Okay. What you see right here is the sprint board. This is the board for the sprint. It even looks like a Kanban thing. Now, this is the to do, in progress, and done. Now, Musumala is the one that asks this user story. Let's say she's a developer. Whenever she starts working on the story, she moves the story to in progress. Okay. So anybody looking at this board would see that Musumala is still working on this user story. So anybody that's working on a story will move the story into in progress. All right. It is a bad idea if you go to the backlog here. It's a bad idea for you to move a story now into sprint one that has already started. If you do that, see what's going to happen. Let me show you. If you try to do this here, see what's going to happen, sprint one. You see, it said sprint scope will be affected by the action.
Yeah.
Okay. It's telling you that you're going to mess things up.
Because we've calculated our points already.
There we go. That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is correct. So you don't want to just begin to put stories into an ongoing sprint. So we cancel this. Okay. So that's how it works. Now, another thing I want to teach you here is you can come up here, guys. All right. And put a comment. Let's see how that's happening. Before we even put a comment, if anybody wants to keep an eye on this project, on this sprint, just come up here and look at the I button and begin to watch it. Click on it. It shows that you are watching the story. So if anything changes from this story, I'll be alerted. I'll get an alert on my email. Now, you can put a comment here. All right, you can say hello, Mosumala. Just do the @ button, @ sign, and the name. Please take a new look at this ticket. Click on save. Mosumala will get an email now telling him that somebody responded to the story assigned to her. All right. So in that vein, you can be watching the story. You can have a comment on a story and so on and so forth. Guys, these are tricks that are very, very important for you guys to keep in mind. Are we aligned, guys?
Yeah.
So assuming I'm a watcher on this backlog.
Yes.
Sorry, on this
story. Yep.
So this mail will be this comment that was sent to us. So am I going to get it also?
Yes, you will get it because you're watching the story. Yes.
Okay.
You will get it. So if you, yes.
Everything is just transparency. There is nothing like private.
That is what transparency is all about, guys. Exactly. This is what transparency is all about. We talked about that earlier. So I'm telling you, everything we did in the morning is kind of, stories, but this is the practical part.
Yeah.
Makes sense, guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, okay, maybe I shouldn't ask.
Yes, ask.
What happens if I keep getting notification that I don't solicit for? don't you think it can be distracting? Is there a way I can mute notification on this?
So what you can do is that you can create a folder in your Outlook and say that every notification from Jira should go into that place so it doesn't bother you.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
You will not be notified if you're not watching a story. You will not be notified if a story is not assigned to you. You will not be notified if you are not commented in a story. You will not be. It's not as if everything we're doing here, you're going to be notified. No. You're only going to get notified if it's affecting you. If you have your name there, or if you're watching it.
Okay.
Make sense?
Okay.
Okay, good. Now, the other thing I want to teach you here
is it good to watch a story?
If it impacts you, why not? If you're interested in that story, you should watch it.
Okay.
You should not watch our story if it doesn't impact you. I don't watch our stories if I don't care about the story. If I care about the story, yes, I want to watch it. All right.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing I want to show is the report. Very, very important, guys. Report, you have burn down chart and the burn up chart. They are the same. All right. The burn down chart, I'm going to show you what that is. So when you do your daily stand up, you want to look at the chart. This says we're starting at 8 story points. We have 2 users. We have 2 issues, 2 user stories. You want to burn down until the 30th of December. At that time, but at the 30th of December, you should have completed the stories assigned. This 8 story point should have been completed. It means you want to burn it down from 8 to what? To 0. Burn up chart is that you're going to start at 0 to 8. That's the difference. This is doing the same thing, just different view. That is it. You're starting from where the number of stories you guys are committing to, 8 story points. You're going to burn down all the way to 0 at the end of the sprint. Burn up chart is going to be starting at 0, burning up all the way to 8 at the end of the day, at the end of the sprint.
So you can choose to use it all the time?
You can use what, sorry?
Can you choose to use either of them?
Absolutely, yes. Yes. Okay. All right. So that is the way the report is. And again, you have access to this board. Access is not going to be revoked, so we're good. So play around with it, learn. If you have questions, you let me know.
So let me ask a question.
Please. Yeah, please.
The burn down, burn up chart, does it automate itself as you are doing your work?
Absolutely, yes.
So you don't have to come here and
don't have to do anything. Just come in and view. That's it.
Okay.
Just come in and view and take a look. Everything that you're doing right here, all right, right here on the project, everything you're doing on the active sprint, all right. By the time I move this one to done, see, let's do it. See, this is done. The story is already done, canceled, right? If you go to the report here, you're going to see a change there. See, it's telling you, see, this is done, right? You're already burning down right now. If you come tomorrow or maybe by next week, you would have seen that the line would have crossed a little bit going towards the end of the sprint. So everything you do will show up here on the board for sure. Are we good, guys?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that. So now we're gonna park Jira here for now.
So do you get to download this report when you are done, or you just leave it on this?
It's already there. No, you don't need to download because everybody that needs access to the board can see the board, right? So you don't need to download the report at all. Yes.
Okay.
All right. So again, there's a lot on Jira itself. I did the video on Jira about a month ago. All right. It's on YouTube now. You can go ahead and take a look at it. If you have more questions about it, there's a ton you can do on Jira. But if I spend time doing Jira now, I'm not gonna be done by the end of the day today. So for now, this is what you need for Jira. Okay. If time permits, I can do another meeting on Jira for you guys to take a part of it. All right, to be a part of that meeting. But for now, let's stop here and go back to the sheets, to the PowerPoints. Okay.
Okay.
All right.